Saturday the 29th of March 2025. 1/3 of the year gone already, and very little to show for it on the steam scene. But today marks the change. 3 charter trains at Carlisle, all of which were to have been steam-hauled. The Settle and Carlisle Steam Special from Manchester is now to be diesel-hauled, with the London and Birmingham trains arriving behind Tangmere and Bahamas. The West Coast Main Line is closed north of Carlisle for engineering purposes, so the tracks will be crowded at the Citadel, and so will the platforms. Enthusiasts are coming from far and wide. I arrive at 9:40, and already cameras and tripods are much in evidence. I decide to take a gamble on the weather and head for Appleby, where I should be able to capture all 3 trains without the crowds. The train from Manchester was scheduled to take a 22-minute stop here, presumably for watering from a road tanker. That will not now be necessary. She arrives 17 minutes late and...
Were you expecting steam?
Regular traffic is light along this line, but the station has warm accommodation and retains much of its Midland Railway character. I was particularly impressed by the toilets, which were not just spotlessly clean, but well heated. The good citizens of Appleby must be very dependent on the railway. I thought my local bus service was poor, but compared to this sizable little market town, it's wonderful. 3 buses per day, Monday to Friday only. Don't lose your driving license. A growing trend these days is for the neighbouring community to get involved with their railway station. I'm always pleased to see the local primary school taking part and encouraging youngsters to take an interest in the railway. It bodes well for the future. A Leeds to Carlisle service arrives, and a refreshment trolley is loaded. And the corresponding service in the opposite direction approaches. This train has the most spectacular part of the journey ahead of it, and a wild, windy trip it'll be today. Appleby was originally served by two railways. The Midland Railway, who cooperated with the Glasgow and South Western to provide through services from London's St Pancras to Glasgow's St Enoch, and the Eden Valley Railway, which was absorbed into the London and North Eastern Railway in 1923. Appleby East closed in 1962. The present station was Appleby West. The tracks curving away to the right at the signal box connected the two routes. Two steam trains are due to pass through Appleby within the space of an hour, so, unsurprisingly, the station starts to get busy. Tangmere will be first, hauling the Cambrian Mountain Express. The steamer will work the train as far as Preston, where Les Ross's Class 86 locomotive, named after himself, will take over for the 100 miles per hour run to London Euston. The 1934-built Jubilee-class loco Bahamas is the motive power for the Shap Mountaineer on its return trip to Birmingham New Street. Bahamas will haul the train over A's Gill as far as Hellifield, where diesel traction will take over. With a lower water capacity than Tangmere and no diesel support, Bahamas will stop here to top up her tender before tackling the southbound long drag. The wind has strengthened considerably within the last hour, and I had serious reservations about flying the drone. The footage is not as rock steady as usual, but if you had seen how the poor machine was fighting to stay in place, the end result is a testament to Chinese technology. In my boyhood, water tanks and elephant's trunk bags were commonplace on the railway. Many rural stations would boast such facilities. I don't know how many others, if indeed any, are still in use. I'd welcome any information. Two things are happening at once here. Watch the back end of the tender. That's why we're stopped here. Crewing a steam locomotive was a much more demanding occupation than the modern train driver's job. During this short break at Appleby, we see water replenishment and coal trimming. Not to mention that headboard, which surely should have been mounted at Carlisle. Out on the line, the driver had to observe signals which would require him to stick his head out of the cab, and even then that huge boiler would obstruct his view. Water replenishment required teamwork. If the participants didn't coordinate their efforts, this could be the result. Filmed here at Appleby in September 2020. And I thought people only did this in Carlisle. As we're going to be here for some time yet, let me tell you something of my journey home. My train back to Carlisle arrived just after the Dumfries train departed. With 80-odd minutes to wait, I went out to the nearby chippy. I hadn't eaten since 6 a.m. Travelling at 75 miles per hour between Annan and Dumfries, my train gave a violent jerk and a series of loud bangs from underneath. We'd hit something. The driver brought it to a halt. We hadn't derailed, and we sat for some time before setting off again very gingerly. On arrival at Dumfries, sometime after 8, the earliest that I could get a taxi home was 10:30. A long evening in Wetherspoons seemed on the cards, but I discovered a late bus which would get me to 2 miles from home. A long walk on a dark night, on a country road, over a hill with a heavy load and no torch. What I have to do to bring you these videos. So, from a wild, windy Appleby, thanks for watching, and here's to the next time. Hopefully, a warm, sunny, calm day.